Hello, my name is Grant Fritchey. I work for Redgate Software. All right, so pretty excited about this topic. It's pretty cool stuff. It's subtle, maybe, but it's pretty neat. So there's this thing, trace flag 7412, 7412. Now, I'm not a trace flag guy. I hate those conversations. You get into them. They happen a lot of times on Tech Outbound. You'll see all the nerds are all gathered around and they start talking, well, trace flag negative and Q/437 and who cares? Trace flag 7412 though, this one's cool. Here's what's going on. When you try to capture an execution plan, you're putting a lot of work onto the server, especially if you're capturing a lot of execution plans. And we want to capture runtime metrics, so we want to capture actual plans, meaning we want to capture plans as queries execute. That means we're putting extra work onto the server when we're executing queries. Cool, not good, but that's how it works. However, we have an extended event query thread profile. Now that extended event captures runtime metrics from the operators without capturing an execution plan. Now, why am I talking about trace flag 7412? Well, because trace flag 7412 enables this to be ongoing all the time. Instead of, you could run this trace and it'll capture the events, but it captures them after the query completes. Trace flag 7412 captures it as queries are executing. Now, that's where things get exciting. Because it's capturing it as queries are executing, you now get live query plans on demand. Let me show you how this works. This is Management Studio, and here's a query, and we can run this query and capture an execution plan. And so we had to execute the query, and then we get the execution plan, but we get the execution plan with runtime metrics. We see that, there was actual 11 rows, estimated 11 rows, right? So it's a decent set of statistics on a decent query. Cool. But we can also take a look at, if we execute the query without capturing the execution plan, if we come back over here and take a look at the live data, we then see that we're running this query, and there's the query that we ran, but then up in front of it, there is on each step here, there is the runtime metrics per node ID, and we can see exactly what's going on and see these nodes and see the estimated number of values, see the actual number of values, and see the real data as it comes by. Now that's great, great stuff, but it gets better. Now let's check the status right now on DBCC trace 7412, and it's currently on. Cool, we're just going to leave it on because it makes things a little easier. Now if I run a query against it, the information I get back is not going to be all that useful. It says that there was a table valued function with an estimated row count of 1,000. Now that's not very useful stuff. So what we're going to do is I want to open up another query. It's a really simple little query. It runs in about 40 seconds or so, depending. But while that's running, let's come back over here. And now let's query system exec query profiles. Now system exec query profiles shows us, for running queries, it gives us accurate counts on the estimated and actual rows and some additional information that I didn't choose to do in this query, but you can track it down and take a look at what other stuff is in there. But you can see exactly which operator, the estimated row count, the actual row count that's come back. And so you can see what's going on. And if we rerun it, if that query is still running, I don't think it is, but if we rerun it, no, it was done. Okay, no big deal. Now that's all pretty cool. We can capture the information after an execution plan is done, and we get all those node ID informations without capturing the execution plan itself, and that's great. Or we can see live data going on inside of a query as it's running, and that's great. But it gets better. Let's run this long-running query again, and let's go back over here to the activity monitor. Now if you take a look at the activity monitor, it may show us that we have a long-running query. And if we take a look at that, we can say, hey, let's look at the live execution plan. Now, traditionally, you have to capture the live execution plan by capturing it as it's running. You have to set up an execution plan at the beginning. But with trace flag 7412, we can now capture a live execution plan. As you see right here, this is occurring live in front of you. I didn't have to capture the plan to start. I just went and looked at a long-running query. That's cool. All right. Right? Mind blown. Good stuff. We can really use this. Where it's going to come in very handy is when you get that phone call, hey, the query is running slow. Okay, cool. You go in, you look at the query, you can go and get those live statistics on the fly. Now, this is not free. This adds load to the system. So I'm not suggesting you put this on every system, that you run it everywhere. You're going to want to test and validate. This is not free. Remember, TAN staffel always applies. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. Anyway, trace flag 7412. Take advantage of it, and take advantage of the extended events, of course. My name is Grant Fritchey. I work for Redgate Software.